Hey gang, this is Chef Ramsay. I play a Death Knight on Stormreaver US, and this is the first video demonstration of my Cataclysm Death Knight simulator called Ramsay-DK. The program itself has 3 required sections, 8 functional sections, and 24 reference sections. I started this program before Burning Crusades, and I've spent thousands of hours working on it. So here you can see we're in step 1, which is the character info section. In this section, you choose your gender, you select your race. You also select your playstyle, either PvP or PvE. Today I'm going to be demonstrating the PvP aspects of the program. You also select your primary and secondary professions if you have them as well. Now, when you select your race, it will actually change the skin of the entire program to your faction and also your race. And same with when you select the gender, it'll also change some of the graphics and other parts of the program. So I'm going to go back to myself, which is a male human. And also all items, factional items also will change as well. So once you've filled out all 3 required sections, you'll have access to the index, which gives you basically access to all the other sections of the program. As you can see here, I'm a human, so I've got the human symbol in the middle here. And from here we'll go to step 2, the gem and reforging preferences. Alright, this is step 2, the gem and reforging preferences section, and this is the second of the required sections. Here you tell the program which item levels you'd like to see on the item list. Right now I've got it set to 378, and that's pretty well where I'm at. And you tell the program what is your preferred gems for every socket as well. So my red sockets, I'm going with Bold Infernal Rubies. For blue sockets, Stormy Ocean Sapphire. And here we'll go with Skillful Hessonite. Alright, and also we're going to go with Reverberating Shadow Spirit Diamond. And in the last slot, which is the Prismatics, we're going to go Bold Infernal Rubies as well. And even though you're not an engineer, the only way you can rate the engineering head is if you enter in the cogwheels, your preferred cogwheels as well. So I've entered those in. At the bottom here, you can see your reforging preferences. This is an optional part of the program. If you want the program to automatically reforge items as you equip them, and if you automatically want the program to reforge the item list, you say yes. And then it'll prompt you for your favorite stat, which will be mastery, and we'll say haste, and we'll go expertise, crit, and I'm not saying this is the correct order you should be doing, but just giving a demonstration, and there it is. So now the whole program will automatically reforge using these settings, and then when you equip a new item, it'll automatically gem that item with these gems you've chosen right here. Also, you can go directly to the gems reference section from here. Let's just click on the red gems. Here, and it'll take you to the gems reference section. Here you have access to basically all the gems. So you can look at the orange gems. You can sort by whatever stat you want. Expertise, there we go. And it automatically, you can check out all the gems in the game from this. You can also go by red sockets. So if you want to go by red socket matching gems, you can also sort by that way as well. Alright, from here we're going to go back to the step 3, which is the current gear section. And here in this section you tell the program which items you use. And you'll notice in the middle here it's got main target DPS. Because I filled out the playstyle sections and everything else already, it can rate main target DPS. And total DPS, this is the damage, including damage done to off targets through AoEs. Your survival rating is a rating of your total health. It's a combination of health and damage reduction. It takes avoidance out of the equation. Mitigation is basically total mitigation using avoidance and damage reduction. Now, let's say a new item drops that you're interested in. To find out whether you want it or not, it's as simple as selecting it. So for fun, let's go select Necrotic Boneplate Helmet Tier 13 Heroic. And here you can see that our main target DPS went up 2.25%, total DPS went up 2.9%, and because it has no resilience, our survival and mitigation has dropped dramatically. You'll see here on the bottom, and we have the set bonuses. If I equip another item, let's just equip something really bad, you'll see the set bonus. I lose the set bonus, and I take massive hits to every bracket. Alright, from here you can also go directly to any of the item sections. So if you click on, let's say, the head, it'll take you directly to the head section, which I will get into later on. For for now, we'll go back to the index. Alright, so now we're going to go to step 4, which is the upgrade section. And in this section, you tell the program basically which enchantments and upgrades you have. You obviously don't have to go to the index every time to change sections. You can go back and continue as well to go on to the next sections. So now we're going to go to step 5, which is the gem section. And you'll notice when you come here for the first time, it'll automatically have all your sockets preloaded with the gems you've chosen for those sockets in the previous section. Here in the middle, you see socket set bonuses. It's also a good time to mention that the whole program is color-coded, red being for damage, and green being for defensive things or healing. Here you'll notice in the middle we've got a gem counter. Meta requirements. Here I've met the meta requirements, and it tells you what your meta gem bonus is as well. Alright, so this is step 6. It's the reforging section. If you previously decided you want to automatically reforge, then this section will already be filled out. And it tells you all your minuses and pluses, and you can change, obviously, things on the fly. If you want to add some dodge rating, and there we go. And that's it, I guess, for the reforging section. Alright, this is step 7, the talent section. Here is where you initially select a specialization, so we're going to go with Frost. And as you can see, I've already filled out, this is my DPS spec for normal battlegrounds, not for rated, certainly. This is what I use to max out DPS in normal battlegrounds. Here's where you select your glyphs, and you can obviously change your glyphs. There we go. You can change whatever glyphs you like. Now you can also click on any of these icons and it'll tell you exactly what it does. Alright, even if you don't have it trained, it'll tell you what it does per point as well. And one of the nice features is, let's just say you wanted to change these 2 points over to here. You don't have to basically reset the whole thing. As soon as you hit 0, it'll reset everything, and then when you select these points here, it will refill everything back out to where you were. Alright, to change specs, you just hit View Summaries, and you select another spec from there. Alright, this is step 8, it's the PvP environment, and here's where you tell the program which environment you want it to simulate. Right now I've got it set to normal battlegrounds, which allows no restrictions on items, spells, or consumables. If you switch to arena, no spells equivalents of 10 minutes or greater, and no consumables. Alright. Rated battlegrounds, it shows the rated, and no consumables except health stones and bandages. So now if we hit continue, it'll go to step 9, which is the raid builder. And because we've done rated battlegrounds, it'll actually show 10 guys. If we do normals, it'll show just 5. Alright, so we're going to go back, we're going to go rated for now, and you'll see here it's got a raid builder. So basically these are all the buffs in the game, and once you've built your team, it automatically assigns which buffs you get. So let's just reset this Feral Druid. You can see we've lost a couple things there, and we'll select a, let's see, what do we have? We'll select a Priest, and we'll go Holy. And we'll select race, Gnome. Alright, and here you can see buff sources. This tells you all the ways that you can get the buffs, and your current party composition as well. So right now we're running 3 healers, 5 DPS, 2 ranged DPS. And that's pretty well it for the raid builder section. Alright, this is step 10, the generic PvP playstyle section. And this section has all the playstyle questions that are common across all specs. So you'll see at the top here, one of the most important ones you select is your aggro percentage. Because I roll with the Holy Priest, as soon as he drops the light well, people just start frothing at the mouths and they go directly for him every time, as they should. And so I barely ever get attacked. I have it set to a minimum of 5%, just because of AoE damage alone, you'll probably take at least 5% damage. So I've got it set to 5%, and it should be noted that it uses for the overall ratings, because I have aggro percentage set to 5%, it'll basically, for defensive stuff, it'll give a 5% weight, and offensive stats will give a 95% weight, according to this. If you roll with a warrior in 2s, and you get attacked about 50% of the time, you'd want to adjust this to about 50%. On the right here, you'll see class and spec distribution, right now I'm got it set to rated BGs, and I have it set at item level 365. So at 365, it's basically the program uses an MMR of 0, and this is the class spec distribution you would find in rated battlegrounds at a 0 MMR. If we went to the opposite end of the scale and went to 404 item level, this will be your 2200 bracket, and you'd see the class spec distribution changes as well, depending on what item level and what MMR you're at. Now, if you go to, let's say, 2s, you'll notice that the class spec distribution changed, and you'll notice that there's no holy priests. Wink, wink, cotton swab. All right, so let's go back to rated BGs for now. And at the bottom here, it'll tell you all your incoming damage. So here, the program's estimating melee damage at 41% in rated battlegrounds. If I just go to 3s quickly, you'll see it's estimating it at 43% for 3s. And that's all taken from here. The program has every stat for every class and spec in the game at any MMR, and it uses this weighted scale to calculate your opponent. So for most people, you want to use generic opponents, and this is like your average person you find in any battleground using these percentages. Let's say you have the healers must die add-on, and your rule of thumb, you either in arena or in the battlegrounds, you always go after the healers. You might want to use generic healer, and then it will use those stats instead. Likewise, if you wanted to always go after the generic DPS and leave the healers alone, then it would use these stats here. You can also go class specific, something you can have fun with. You know, it's not what I would recommend, but you can go here and you can select any class specifically if you wanted to see how much DPS you do against an unholy death knight. You could calculate that. But like I said, most of the time people are going to use generic opponents, and that pretty well covers this section. Actually, I got a couple more things to mention here for this section. You'll notice here under resistances, it estimates the amount of resistance your average target would have. So this basically, it looks at what's the percentage chance of having a druid, a paladin, and for Mark of the Wild or kings, and also for priests for shadow protection. And it uses that data here. Obviously, shadow resistance is higher because priests give you shadow resistance. You'll notice as you go to rated battlegrounds, this will be extremely close to the 195 that you actually get. All right, and also once it looks at Mark of the Wild and Kings, after that the remaining percentage, it looks at racial resistances as well. And the program has all percentage of what classes play what races and all their racial benefits as well. I know it's a little bit over the top, but also for if you go normal battlegrounds, the consumable section will come up, and this is where you can select all your different consumables that you use. And let's just say flask with Titanic Strength, which is what I normally roll with, and your potions, and also your food as well. All right, and now that's it for this section. All right, this is step 11, which is the final functional section. Because I'm spec Frost, this is the Frost specialization playstyle. Obviously, the Unholy and Blood specialization playstyles look different than this one. So right at the top here, you select your presence. It automatically calculates your main hand attacks. This is a percentage of total damage. Now down here, all the white boxes use what's called weights. So basically, for every 3 necrotic strikes I throw, I do a plague strike. So I'll put 3 in 1, and then it'll automatically use all available runes available and calculate frequencies, how many times you'd actually use that skill. Because Frost Strike is the only offensive skill I use that uses runic power, it basically dumps all excess runic power into Frost Strike, and this is the frequency that you get from that. If we scroll down, you'll see the yellow boxes here. Now the yellow boxes aren't using the weight scale, they're absolute. So Death and Decay does a 3-minute fight. I can use a maximum of 6, and I don't use it all the time, so let's just say 4 out of 6 times I use it. And that tells you my total damage percentage there. And you can actually calculate the number of off targets you're hitting by using a damage meter, which is nice. A better example would be for Howling Blast. And yeah, I'll leave that. For Howling Blast, I set the weight at 250 because basically I'm spamming Howling Blast constantly with my Shadow Frost spec for normal battlegrounds. and that'll calculate 93.8 uses of Howling Blast. And because from the damage meters I know I get about 50% of my damage comes from Howling Blast, I can estimate how many off targets I'm hitting. So 3 gives me 48, so with 4 off targets on average, I'm at about 51.5%. You can keep going down. You've got minions, diseases, all the miscellaneous skills you use, and your defensive skills as well. Now if we go back to the top, you can show runic power, you can show hitboxes, and you can actually show them all at once if you want. Show damage and show healing, and this will give you everything you can see at once, but that's a lot of information. So you can, if you just wanted to see the hitboxes, now you just see the hitboxes and it'll show you just the hitboxes. Just want to see the damage, there it is. It'll just show you the damage. Alright, and that's it for the Frost spec playstyle. Alright, so that's it for all functional sections. They're filled out, so that only leaves the reference sections left. First one we're going to have is a combat summary. You can view offensive stats. It shows you all damage percentages and where the damage is coming from. And view defensive stats. It shows you a total of all your healing and shields. Next section we have the character sheet. You can view all your melee stats, all your spell stats, or your defensive stats. Alright, next section, character statistics. This shows you where all your stats are coming from all your items and upgrades, etc., etc. Alright, so let's go back to the index and I'll show you some of the other reference sections. Here's the set bonus section. It basically gives you all the cataclysmic sets and their bonuses. And here we go to the item list. Alright, because I'm dual wield, it automatically takes us to the main hand weapons. And here you see all the main handed weapons. Actually, sorry, only the weapons from 378 up, because that's what I chose. So let's fix that. Go to the index. We'll select that, all weapons. We'll go back. Alright, so now we have every item in the game showing up. Every level 85 weapon in the game showing up. To navigate to other sections, you simply click on the paper doll. Here's the shoulder section. Here's the chest section. Now you can view offensive stats, which is what we already have, because we're Frost, it automatically goes to this. You can view defensive stats, view miscellaneous stats, and view ratings. And this is the last time I rated. I've made a lot of changes, so I have to re-rate the program, which I'll show you just in a sec. And you can click on the location, click on the map, and it shows you all the locations where everything is dropped or found. So now I'm going to click Rate Chest Armor, and it's going to actually go through and rate all the gear in the game. Now don't take this to heart because some of the settings I've made here are not ideal, but once you've made your settings, it'll be proper ratings. So it's going through and re-rating everything here, and then it'll automatically resort it for DPS overall. So if you're like a mana burn team in Arena, let's just say, you probably want to look at DPS total. If you're more of a blow up team, you want to go to DPS main target. And here we are. There's all the items rated, all the way down to the greenies. Alright, and that's about it for the item list sections. Actually, one more thing to mention, you can sort by anything you like. If you want to sort by, whoops, of course I click on something that you can't sort by. You can also sort by any stat you like. So this is sorting by strength. And every item here has already been reforged if you've chosen automatic reforging, and it automatically puts in your preferred gems as well. Alright, so now we go back to the index, and I'll show you the credits section. Credits and legal. This is basically where I give thanks to people that deserve it, and the legal, hopefully Blizzard won't sue me for making this program. So you can see here, two websites that I really like to thank would be Wowhead, which is where I got pretty well every graphic in the game from, and also MMOchampion.com as well. That's my favorite information site. Alright, so that's it. That's the demonstration of my Death Knight simulator. This thing has obviously taken a redonkulous amount of time to do, like thousands of hours, and I hopefully will be releasing the beta version in a week from now, and I'm giving it away for free. I'm counting on the WoW community to support me, and hoping that I get some donations for all my hard work. And thanks a lot, guys, for watching this, and Chef Ramsay is out.